You don't need the other person to change in order for you to transform a relationship. It only takes one person to mend a relationship, and everybody knows that. But the problem is most of us think it's the other person in the relationship. When you build internal safety, you show up differently. You set limits without guilt. You protect yourself without shutting down. You communicate clearly instead of hoping people will read your mind. You stop people pleasing and you give the relationship a real chance to become something new.
Hi, I'm Barb Nangle. I want to welcome you to my podcast, Fragmented to Whole: Life Lessons from 12-Step Recovery. If you're tired of feeling fragmented and overwhelmed, this podcast is your guide to creating a life of wholeness, authenticity, and healthy boundaries. I'm a woman in recovery who is also a boundaries coach and speaker. I share raw and honest insights from my own journey and the principles of 12-step recovery. Discover how to set boundaries without guilt or shame, overcome people-pleasing tendencies, manage your emotions effectively, cultivate a stronger sense of self, and build healthier relationships. My approach is raw, honest, and sometimes a little bit, a lot sweary. I'm an avid beachcomber and a formerly closeted fan of the Hallmark Channel, especially Christmas movies. I wear fingerless gloves almost all year round because my hands are always cold, and I love taking pictures of license plates with my initials BN on them. I don't speak for or endorse any particular 12-step program of recovery. Though I'm a huge fan of 12-step recovery and a member of two such fellowships, I cannot speak for them. If you're ready for real talk and practical tools for transformation, keep listening.
This is episode 329, Healing Old Wounds: How Boundaries Helped Me Reconnect with Someone I Love. If you're on my email list, you've probably heard that my brother and I have reconciled. I may have mentioned it here briefly, but I haven't shared the deeper story. And even though it's a little late for this, I feel a real need to protect his anonymity in a way I never did before. So today, I'm going to try to focus on principles, not personalities, because the bigger story isn't really about him. It's about what happens when you do deep inner work and build real internal safety. Now, he has had a major wake-up call recently. He's been in a very long, very heavy depression that made even basic adult tasks seem impossible. Things have shifted for him, thank God. He's getting help. He's talking openly. He's reaching out to old friends. And for the first time in our lives, we're having conversations that are honest, direct, vulnerable, and healing. We've each made amends to each other, and I'm sure there's more to come for both of us. But something happened the other day that really struck me. I texted my sweetheart and said, I'm really enjoying my brother's company. It's amazing what clear communication and healthy boundaries can do for a relationship. And I meant it. Now, his situation changed unexpectedly. He sold the house. He was going to stay with neighbors until he found an apartment, but that fell through. So he's been staying with me for a few nights. And what's wild to me is how much I've genuinely enjoyed having him here. In the past, it was, let's just say complicated. Partly because of his struggles, but also because I didn't have the ability to take care of myself. I couldn't protect my own time, energy, or even my preferences. I didn't know how to say, this is okay with me and this isn't. But now I do. So he's staying here with clear guidance, including how long he can stay. I tell him things like, I'm about to teach a workshop. I'll be in the sitting room in the basement. Please don't disturb me. Or, you can eat anything in the house, but don't finish the last of something without checking with me first. I gave him the couch in my office so he has privacy and a door he can close. I told him when I'd have people over to co-work and that he needed to be out of the house during that time. I told him when he needed to be gone so I could be with my partner. And I've been very open about what's okay and what's not. The surprising thing is that he respects every boundary. And the bigger surprise is that I'm calm and steady while setting them. A few weeks ago, the first time that we got together in person, I told him I wanted to apologize for keeping him at such a distance for so long. I said it wasn't because I didn't love him, it was because I didn't have the emotional bandwidth to deal with the level of crisis he was in. Now, I think I actually did have the emotional bandwidth, but I didn't want to expend that emotional energy. I've spent my entire life rescuing, fixing, and saving people. And when everything fell apart for him a few years ago, I knew immediately that I couldn't take responsibility for it, and I wasn't going to step in and fix anything. I told him, well, I might have been a little too strong with some of my boundaries, and that if any of that caused him harm, I was sorry. And he looked at me and he said, "What are you apologizing for? You have done nothing to apologize for. I practically tortured you as a child." Now, hearing that out loud from his mouth at age 62 was like my internal world shifted on its axis. Because through my internal family systems therapy work this year, I realized for the very first time that my brother bullied me when we were kids. And a few weeks later, it hit me that it wasn't only bullying, it was abuse. And I hadn't allowed myself to see that until this year. Now, he was bullied relentlessly in school. It was severe enough a couple of different times that teachers and administrators and my parents got involved. Now, this was back in the 60s and 70s when bullying was not on the national agenda. In my child mind, I decided he was the one who got bullied in the family, so I couldn't be the one who got hurt. There could only be room for one victim. I applied that same distorted thinking in other places too. I thought he is the smart one, which meant I couldn't be. It wasn't until my 20s that I realized, oh, wait, I'm smart too. So I sit across from him now as an adult and hear him say he abused me and that he's sorry is something I'm still integrating. It's like my insides are being rearranged in real time. He said something to the effect that what makes it worse is that I did to you what was done to me. And I told him, look, this is exactly how intergenerational family dysfunction works. We pass on what was done to us, even when we tell ourselves we'll never do it. When you're bullied, you're full of fear and rage and helplessness. You can't take it out on the bully, so you take it somewhere else. Now, that doesn't mean his behavior was okay. It was not. It means it's understandable and it came from somewhere. He's not the first person to be bullied who bullied others. These conversations have been incredibly honest and raw, and the only reason I can have them is because I have built the internal safety to hold them. I know in my bones and my cells that I'll take care of myself no matter what. If he gets triggered or flips into old patterns or lashes out, I'll protect myself. I didn't have that ability as a kid or even into my 50s until I got into recovery. So I became a people pleaser, but I'm not that person anymore. And speaking of people pleasing, we talked about that too. He said he always felt like we were a team when we were kids. And I told him about the dual experience I had. I loved him and wanted good things for him. And at the same time, I was terrified of being associated with him because he truly didn't care what anyone thought. He'd shout at neighbors, he'd stand up to adults. He didn't care. And I cared so much that I could barely breathe. I gave him an example of something that he'd done as a kid in the neighborhood. And when I told him how it felt to me, I realized I'd never said those words about that dual experience with him out loud in my whole life. I'd never even articulated it to myself. And that's the theme here. When you're a people pleaser, you do everything you can to be palatable, to be accepted, to avoid judgment. And sometimes that means stepping away from people you love because you're afraid their behavior will reflect badly on you. And that's what I did. But because I've done so much internal work, I don't live like that anymore. I care what people think, of course, but not at the expense of my own integrity the way I used to. I care more about what I think of me That shift is a huge part of why I can be in relationship with him now. I'm patient with him. I'm present with him. I'm firm with him. I tell him when I'm resting, when I need quiet, when I don't want to talk. And for the first time, I see him responding, mainly because I'm actually saying something. Now, we have watched Hallmark movies together, and he'll start talking and I'll tell him to stop because I want to watch. I never did that before in my life. My blood would boil silently instead because I would think in my head, he should know. Or I would snap and be like, will you shut the fuck up? Now I just speak up and he responds. Not because he's perfect or healed, but because I'm different. And that is the real point of this story. Yes, he's getting help. Yes, he's doing his own work. But my ability to be in relationship with him is now a direct result of the deep healing I've done, the coping skills I've learned, the self-trust I've built, the boundaries I've mastered, the emotional safety I've created inside my own body. But here's the truth. You don't need the other person to change in order for you to transform a relationship. It only takes one person to mend a relationship, and everybody knows that. But the problem is most of us think it's the other person in the relationship. When you build internal safety, you show up differently. You set limits without guilt. You protect yourself without shutting down. You communicate clearly instead of hoping people will read your mind. You stop people pleasing and you give the relationship a real chance to become something new. So that's what I'm experiencing with my brother right now. Something new, something surprising, something tender, and something I never, ever thought I would feel or experience with him. When we hugged for the first time a few weeks ago, when we saw each other in person, I said to him, I literally thought this would never happen. And I'm sharing it because you might have your own person, someone you love but have complicated feelings about, someone from your past, someone who hurt you, someone you've kept at a distance. And I want you to know that healing is possible, not because they get better, but because you do. And when you start healing from the inside out, the whole world shifts. Let's be honest, the holidays can be hard. You're pulled in 100 directions trying to do it all, and it's easy to lose yourself in the process. My Holiday Boundaries Express is 3 private coaching sessions to help you reclaim your peace, set guilt-free boundaries, and actually enjoy the season. The 3 themes are personal peace and self-care, family festivities with fun, and social serenity. It's just $700, and if you choose to continue with Unshakable You, that full amount is discounted from your enrollment fee. And here's something new. I'm lowering the price on Unshakable You for now. The world feels shaky and unpredictable, and I want to help create a more secure world by helping more women feel secure within themselves. Because when you're grounded and unshakable, everyone around you benefits too. Visit higherpowercc.com/holiday to start your journey toward peace, inside and out. Thanks for listening. If something here resonated, come connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm at Barb Nangle. I'd love to hear what you got from this episode. And if you'd like support building healthier boundaries in your personal, professional, or romantic life, you can book a free 30-minute Say No Without Guilt consultation at barbchat.net.